All right. So we talked about how to insert YouTube videos into your Word. We talked about smart ads. We talked about charts. We talked about taking screenshots, inserting pictures and tables. We covered quite a lot on our previous sessions. Okay. And so today I'm just going to take you through two major things in Word. Then we can move to the PowerPoint. One is how to add the watermark to your listing. Now we all know what a watermark is. We don't know. Right? Basically, watermark is like it could be a picture like a logo or a text. We use it to basically copyright a document. Let me put it that way. And so, for instance, when you there are some documents when you open it, you have a text like either copyright written on it. So let me just or sometimes you have like if it's an invoice, you have like the company's logo kind of like under the background. It's like a background image, but it's not actually a background image. Okay. So usually when we are given like PowerPoint templates from our schools, sometimes they have these things there. So something like this. So something like this draft, that's a watermark, okay? Something like this is a watermark. It's not an actual text that's on the document, but you cannot actually interact with it, but it exists as a marker on a document to show you that it is a draft. Now it could be a text or it could be just a logo. Okay, yes,
Okay, I had wanted to define or say something about the watermark. I thought, can I can I
yes,
go ahead?
yeah, sure.
Yes. Just to add up to what Say is talking about, watermark basically helps you claim ownership of your prepared documents, right? Especially as business people, this feature in Word can help you claim ownership of your designs or your templates or whatever you use Word to prepare about your business. So maybe you've been able to draft your daily sales with Word. You can use watermark to what claim the ownership so that in case anybody comes to pick the document or after it is printed, you can add either your name or your business name or your logo to the document in a watermark form. So when anybody picks it or when the document goes anywhere, people would be able to know that this document is coming from Rukaya Enterprise. This document is coming from Aisha Enterprise or whatever business name you might use. So, as entrepreneurs, those of us who are entrepreneurs here, that particular feature is for us. And those of us who are trying to become a person in the nearest future, you can pay much attention here because you would be needing it. Sometimes you might not have money to copyright your document, but once you watermark all products coming from you, you can use Word to do that. At least once it gets anywhere, they are all forms of marketing strategies.
All right, so thank you.
Any hands on those documents, they'll be able to know that or where it is coming from. Basically, that's what I wanted to add up. Thanks.
Thank you. Basically, that's like pretty much everything about the watermark. It just helps you to label your document, to put it in simple terms. And so instead of just talking, let's just go straight ahead and see how we can add a watermark to our document here. We have this document. How do we add our watermark to it? In order to do that, you have to first open Word. And I'm sure by now we all know how to open Word. talked about it plenty times, so I'm not going to go over that. We go to our design tab, and then we look at the our right side. Okay, we have watermark. You can all see that, right? And if you remember our first session, I told you that anytime you see an icon or anything in Word that you do not understand, just hover your mouse over it. You're going to see a text telling you what exactly it is and what it does. And so from here we have what? Watermark. It adds what? Ghost text such as confidential or urgent behind the content on the page. So that's basically what Madam was explaining to us. So let's click on that. Then when you click on it, you have what? Templates that have been prepared for you to use. So we have confidential, which is going to run across. And then we have one that is just written horizontally. We have do not copy, and in different styles basically. So which one should we use? I'm just going to pick confidential, like this one.
The slanted one.
Yeah, what?
The slanted one.
The slanted one. Yeah, that's the one I choose. Confidential one.
Mm.
And so I don't know if you can actually see it because you said I should use the white the light mode. You see the text is not that visible, but you can see it, right? Confidential, or you can see it.
We can.
It's written across the document. Confidential. And so basically that's how we add a watermark. It's very simple, isn't it? Or it's not simple. It's very simple. But instead of just doing
Hi,
this,
sir.
sorry, is someone saying something? Is that an issue? All right. So what I'm going to do is instead of just using the pre-made text that's there, I'm going to use a logo instead. So let's say you have a business, you want to use your logo to do that. And so I'm going to go to custom watermark, and then what I'm going to do is instead of using text, I'm going to choose what? A picture watermark. Okay. Then I'm going to select my picture. And of course, when you're using watermark, you need to use an appropriate picture. Okay. And basically, Microsoft Word allows you to use a watermark from either online by searching on Bing or your this thing or your OneDrive, or you can just pick one from your computer. So I'm going to pick one from my computer. Right. So let's see. Let's see. I'm going to do this. So let's use this. Just apply it. Now you see that because I use a picture with a background, it looks odd, right? Let me close this. It looks odd. You can see that it's kind of like covering the whole distance, adding the background to it. I don't want to have that. So you need to use a picture that has a white background or that doesn't have a background. Because if you use one that has a background, it'll end up affecting the quality of your watermark. Okay. So I'm going to pick a different image. I'm going to reapply that. Then I'm going to close. Now this one is there all right, but because of how the watermark is, you'll not be able to see it. And so you have to customize how the watermark looks in your computer. Okay. I'm going to remove the washout, and then I'm going to apply. Are we seeing the effect? When you apply the washout, it's basically going to bleach the image. But if you remove the washout, it allows the image to appear in its colors. Let me put it that way. So if I had a better logo or a picture, I could use that. I think I have. Many this. So for this one, I want you to see the difference between when the bleach is applied. You see, this is how it looks when the bleach is applied. Then when the washout is not applied, it looks this way. So basically, that's the difference. Now, apart from just using a custom image as your watermark, you could actually use your own text. Okay, and of course, before we get to that, someone might ask, well, this looks big, right? How do I scale it down? Make it smaller. You can basically set it the size up to 50%. And so that will scale the image down and set it to 100% if you want, but I think the 50% is okay. Makes it looks a little bit, right? And so you do that. If you still want to apply the washout, you can do that. And what I want to do is, you see, even when this is there, I can still add text onto the page. So it doesn't really affect anything on the page. It just um, labels the document for you. So see that, right? And so no matter what you do, you can select everything, but it still wouldn't affect that particular image. This is different from making an image into a background. Please don't confuse the two. If I added a background image to this, when I highlight like this, that image too would have been highlighted, and I could basically delete it along with the image. But in this case, even if you delete the content on the page, the watermark will still be there on the document. Okay, so that's the difference between adding a normal picture as a background and then having a watermark on your page. Basically, with the watermark, it gives you the flexibility and it doesn't actually interfere with whatever you are writing on your document. Okay, compared to that of the normal image that you insert and make it a background. And also, if you add a normal image and make it into a background, you see that when we uploaded the image, it appears on every page that we have on the page, right? On the document, right? If this was a background image, it would only appear on the page that you inserted the image. So that's another difference between that. So that's about the watermark. If you want to use a custom, if you want to, let me remove this image first. So I basically remove the watermark. If I want to use a custom text as my watermark, I'll go to custom watermark. I use a text, and then we can just call this Tech Hub. Do that, and then you apply. Then you see Tech Hub, right? You can change the color to something green. Okay. And so you can either make it, and so you can either make it horizontal or you can make it diagonal. See that, right? But the horizontal is usually nice. You can also take out the transparency. Also, the scaling, that's about the size. You can make it smaller. See? I hope you are getting what I'm doing, right? Any questions?
I didn't
Uh,
get the where you make it small and big part.
you didn't get that part.
Yes, please.
All right, so fine. Basically, when you have the watermark, go to design, go to watermark, go to custom, and then You can, if it is an image, okay, we have scale. If it is text, we have size. You basically go to size, you select the font size, okay. Basically, I selected 40 here. We can select 36, and then you click on apply to make it smaller. If you want to make it bigger,
Okay.
you can select the what font size, let's say 90, and then you apply to make it bigger, like you can see, right?
Okay, yeah.
You can change the color to any color that you want, and you can make it transparent if you want, or if you want to make it leave it. If you want to leave it deep, you can do that. If you want to make it transparent, just check the semi-transparent box and click on apply. After that, you can close the box. That's about it.
Okay.
Any other question? All right. So that's about the watermark. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to move to one little thing that I wanted to add, but because of the time, we couldn't do that. You see, we're going to talk about page layouts. It's very important. Now, usually when you are working with a document, there are times that you want to have a larger space, okay? And this is a normal this is a normal document size, okay, in terms of width. Now, what I'm talking about is assuming that you have a table, okay? So I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to create a table of, let's say, 7. Let me add another one to make it 8. Now, if I were to write anything in here, like you see that I'm going to have very little space to work with when it comes to the table, right? And I think we already know how to add the rows and columns, so I don't need to explain further. Now, what happens if you want to widen this? Now, for when you are working with on your research or when you are doing a case study, there are times that you are going to need to expand a page so that your table can fit in very well. Basically, you have to change the page layout. But one thing about page layouts is that when you change a page layout, let's say you go to layout, you change this from the orientation to landscape. Landscape will make it wider for you. Okay. So landscape will make this wider, all right? You can see that it's wider than normal, but it also affects all the other pages. And you don't want that. You don't want all your pages to be landscape. You only want that single page to be landscape. Okay. Now, how do you handle this situation? So that only the page that your table is on will be affected, but not every other page. So I'm going to move the table to the next page like this. I'm going to revert everything back to portrait. I have this one, two, and then 3, 4, 6, and 7. And we have our heading 8, right? All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use page breaks. Now, for those of you who were there on our first lesson, I mentioned something small about page breaks. Basically, it allows you to end or to add an abrupt end to a particular page where a page is going to end, basically breaking that page continuation. So if I want to make this page, the page that the table is on, if I want to make it larger than the other pages, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my layout. See page breaks, we have breaks here, right? I'm going to click on the breaks. Then I'm going to go to what? Our next page because I want the insertion point to be on the next page. Look at where my current cursor is. Okay, my cursor is on this page that we have the chart. Okay, but I want it to be applied to what? This page with the table. Now, if I wanted to just apply it on the table without uh, having to go to the next page, then I'll leave it here, go to breaks, and then I'll do what? It continues. Okay, but usually when you are working on a page, you usually haven't actually created the table yet. You want to create the page before you what? You you now create the table. Okay, so that's when you use the what? The next page. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go to my breaks. I'm going to go to continuous. This will basically add a page break to the next page. Then I can go to orientation, change it to landscape. Now, when I do that, you see that the chart here, it still remains a normal page size, but this page has been what? All the other pages that's following that page has been turned into what? A landscape what? Page layout. But we don't also want it to affect the what? The following pages. We just want to affect only a single page. And you can also see that after adding the page breaks, it has actually affected my what? My cover page. And so because of that, I have a border on my cover page. So I'm going to quickly solve that issue with the border. I'm going to go to my design, go to my page borders, then the page border, I'll leave it to what? Only the first page. So on this page, page border, this is section. So basically taking out the page border, but we'll still have our border on our first page. Am I moving too fast? Um,
No.
if I'm moving too fast, just quickly like prompt me because I'm not actually seeing the Google distance when I'm on the distance. So you have to prompt me so that I can get back to you and then answer your distance. All right. So you see how I took out the page borders, right? That might be something you will want to do later on. So you go to the borders and then you take it out for this particular page. And now what I can do is basically enlarge my my table. Then I want to make sure that my page, the page size here, that's the page layout here, doesn't affect these pages that are following it. And so I'm going to go back to my layout, go to the breaks. I'm going to say the next page. So add a break to the next page. Then I can change it back to to portrait. Now, are you seeing what I'm seeing, right? I have to zoom out so that you can
Yes.
see it very well. So we have a large page inserted within our page, and now we have enough space to work with our table, and then it doesn't also affect the previous pages as well as the continuing pages. And so this gives,
What if you have to print out?
yeah, if you have to print out the printing press, they know that this is a landscape distance, so they know how they are going to print it out for you. Okay.
Okay.
If you have to print out, they will do they when they have to print out, they usually have a way that they print out this for you. If you want it to be printed on a
Okay.
larger page for you, they can do that. But if you also want them to make it to print it in a horizontal form, because it's larger than normal, if you want them to make it in a horizontal form, like they can also do that for you. So usually at the printing press, when they open your document, always prompt them because sometimes you don't know who is working at the place.
Mm,
So always prompt them on how you want this thing to be printed so that they will print it out well for you. Because if they don't choose the appropriate paper size and they print it, it will cut out some of the distance for you. It will cut out the page, okay? And so you have to prompt them.
mm,
Any questions or any issues?
thank you.
All right. Did I confuse anyone? Is anyone confused? All right. So silence means consent, right? Great. So let's go and start working with our Our PowerPoint. Is someone raising their hand?
Yes, please, I'm the one.
All right.
Please, if you want to do the watermarker,
Watermark.
like you want to create, yeah, the watermark. If you want to create a sentence
Mm-hmm,
like to Zahab,
mm-hmm,
all of the pages throughout.
mm-hmm.
Is there a way that you can do that one?
You have,
Like, let me say the pages are about 130,
yeah,
and you want to create the watermark so that it will appear in all the pages.
yeah.
Do you have a way you can do that?
So basically, the watermark is automatic. Once you add the text, you know how we do the custom watermark, right?
Yes.
Once you do that, it doesn't matter the number of pages you create. Anytime you create a new page, it will appear. You see,
Mm.
so you don't have to worry about adding anything again.
Okay.
Ah, it's done automatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other issue? We are not able to finish the whole Microsoft Word like features. We cannot cover everything on this session. Okay, so you will have to like work with us with the in-person class to be able for us to take you through each and every section. Because you see that what we have covered here is just the basics. Okay, we haven't talked about reviews, how you can actually do reviews, comments, how you can merge changes from different people. We have not talked about any of that. We haven't talked about a lot of things from the view pane. We've not talked about how you can actually insert references, right? And you can see that in here, when I open my reference tab, I have Mendeley and I even have Zotero here. Like you will see those things on your Microsoft Word. These are plugins and add-ons. Okay, yeah, add-ons. And if you remember the last time, I told you that add-ons are also other ways to add functionality to your web. So these are all things that can be covered, but we don't actually have enough time to be able to do that. Okay, people spend like years trying to learn Microsoft Office Word. So it's not something you can just cover in 2 or 3 days. Okay, so let's get started on the PowerPoint. Like I'm sure we all know what Microsoft PowerPoint is, right? Or is there someone here who has never heard of the word PowerPoint? Nobody. So we all know what PowerPoint is. Okay. So Fatima Adam, Fatima, oh she's not there. I'm beginning to think some people just join the thing and their mind is not there. uh, all right. So can someone tell me what Microsoft PowerPoint is used for?
Please, what I know about it is it's basically used. It's an application software that we use to create presentations.
Thank you. Use it to create presentations, right? All right. So that's right. It's basically used to create slideshows, like short form content, or whatever you are going to present to your audience. Okay. So usually when you're having classes, whether it's lectures,
Hello, sir. Mute yourself.
Rama, Rama, I'm getting an echo from your side. So basically, when we are having our lectures, whether in our campuses or it's an online lecture, sometimes they present to us with PowerPoints, right? And then they show you these things like this slideshows, short form content that basically helps them to what? To explain. Now you will use PowerPoint in so many different ways, whether in your class presentations, your assignments, or even at the workplace. Okay, like sometimes you'll be required to write a presentation on your next program. You're supposed to bring a presentation. You go and sit with your boss, you explain what it is, and then your boss can now tell you to either make changes or approve of it. Okay. Now, as entrepreneurs, you will definitely work with PowerPoint, whether you like it or not. There are times where you have to go and pitch your idea, and most of these official people they require that you come with a PowerPoint presentation of your idea, what you are working with, what you will require. You need to put everything into a nice and well designed what presentation, and so you will have to do that. So it's called a pitch deck, right? So you have to do you definitely need to use what PowerPoint or Microsoft PowerPoint. It could be Microsoft PowerPoint, it could be Google Slides. You could use like there are so many systems that allows you to actually create PowerPoint presentations. One is Canva, okay. I think we are yet to cover Canva, right? So we have Canva, we have Google Slides. We also have, what's the name? From Library Office, they also have a similar system that allows you to create PowerPoint presentations, just like they have an alternative to Microsoft Word. And so these are basically systems that have been created to help us do these things. You have to remember there is a difference between Microsoft Word and that of PowerPoint. Why am I bringing this up? They both allow you to write text, all right, but you should always remember that PowerPoint is for short form content. You don't go to write a whole lot of things on your what? On a single slide. It's not advisable. And so I don't want to be talking too much. I'm just going to open up the Microsoft PowerPoint so that I can get started with it. Now, like any other software in our computer, in order to open it, we need to click on our start menu. Click on the start menu. You see, I have it pinned here. It's called PowerPoint. If you don't have it pinned in your Windows or your machine, just search for it. Just search for PowerPoint. Start typing power. You'll see it appears, right? I'm just going to click on it. So then, and so PowerPoint, it also has similar features to Word. Okay, it allows us to use the text formatters. The text formatters, we have bold, italic, underline, the font sizes, the font family. Like it has all those things, font alignment, everything. So basically, if you learn the Microsoft Word very well, you will not have issues using what PowerPoint because they are basically the same thing in terms of the usage. The only difference is how it's structured, and then some extra features that have been added to it, like transitions, which we will cover later on. So, how do we get started? We've opened up our Microsoft PowerPoint. Our first action will be to what? Create a blank what? Presentation, right? But if we want to use a template, just like in our Microsoft Word, we have templates that are provided by what? Microsoft themselves. You can basically click on any of them to use. So if I wanted, I could just click on this, use it. But let's create a blank one, right? Or we should use a template,
No, create a blank one, please.
right? So we'll go to what? Blank presentation. And you're already familiar with this interface because this is similar to Microsoft Word. We have recent what? PowerPoints that I have opened. If you don't have any recent documents opened, you will not see it here. You have your favorites. You can actually mark a document as a favorite. We have a new listing. We have home. You can open one from your computer by clicking here. But we are going to create a new one. So I'm just going to click on what? Blank presentation. Usually when you open this, what you are going to see, okay? So so when you click on new, this is what you are going to see. Now what do we have here? Basically on the left side here, this panel is going to be a place that shows you all your what? Your slides. It's a preview. It allows you to preview your slides. Okay. This is where you'll be working. Okay, most of the time this is where you'll be working because you have the slide here and then we have the slide content. So our current or our active slide is highlighted as you can see. That's a border around it, right? So we have a what? We have been told that we should click to add a title. So I'm just going to say my slide. Then we have a subtitle. Say, okay, this is a sentence. So yeah, I've just created a slide like that. And I'm hearing, right? So that's all about Microsoft PowerPoint. Any questions?
Hi, sir. You're making it look too easy, though it's easy.
It's easy. That's
Anyway, I would suggest that maybe once we are done with this, we can go back to the templates to explore around all the templates around.
Yeah, in fact, there's more to explain. I'll just joke with you. All right, so we've basically created our first slide like that. Now, slides are basically what we have here. Now, these things, I call them widgets. They are just boxes. They are text boxes that allows you to add text into it. Most of the time, when you have a slide, you will have a heading. Okay, let's say that we wanted to prepare a slide on breast cancer, right? What will you do? If this was a group work, the first slide will be your what? Your group name, right? So we'll make this group one. Then maybe you've been given a topic. So we're going to say our topic is what? Maybe prevention of what? Breast cancer. Let's make that our topic. And so this looks way too generic. So I want to add a bit of style into it. I'm going to make this bold. You remember how we do bolding, right? I'm going to make it bold. And because these are like widgets, you have the ability to resize it and you have the ability to move it around. And so you can click and hold on any of the dots and then you can resize it. And then if you want to move it, you can click here. You can just hover over any of them. When it turns into this star, like your mouse turns into like a star, just click and hold, and then you can drag it to any place in the what in the slide, and you move it. I want to move it to somewhere around the center. There we go. Now, after doing this, I want to make our topic too bold. I'm going to highlight this. I'll make it bold. I'm going to move that in here too. All right, great. So what happens if I want to add another text? Like I want to list my group members, right? You don't want to have group one in the topic without your group members. How do we do that? I'm going to go to sets. I'm going to add a text box. You click on it, it's highlighted, right? Once it's highlighted, you see that my mouse has changed shape. Basically, I can click now, hold, and drag. This will create another text box for me to write whatever I want to write inside. Are we following? Now, what is the next thing to do? We want to write our group members, right? We want to write everyone and their index number. How do we do that? We want to use a table so that it can be well organized. So I'm going to go to insert, I'm going to go to table, I'm going to add like 2 columns. Well, damn. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to do Control Z to undo that. Then what I'll do is back here. Fine, I'll just write it and move it. Name and then index number. Right? So I want to move this into what? The text box here. There's a text box here, but because I've not written anything, when I move outside there, it's hidden. It looks hidden, but it's still there. So I want to move this. And so you remember how we move, right? Click on hold, then just move it. So I'm going to say group members, and of course, we also I hope you remember how we add what? New rows and columns to our table, right? So I'm just going to add the first group member, which is Mushe him and 0010. Or 001, because that's number one. Then we can add as many people as we want, right? Nice. Now, see that this our table here can also be what? Be moved. I want to make sure that it aligns very well with whatever we already have. Now this looks kind of like it looks like it's just standing out. I don't want to leave it like that. Let me delete it. I'm going to delete that. I want to change the color here because I don't want it to be colored like that. So what do? I'll click on the table. I'll go to table design. Then I'm going to change this black. No, let's just leave it like that. There we go. I'll leave all the borders. Highlight everything. So, so select this. Click, hold, and then drag to the right side. Click on Control, hold, and then click on P. This will make the text bold. Click on Control again, and then hold. Then you press on E. This will move the headings to the center, right? This makes it look a little bit nicer. All right. So I think this looks better, right? Move it a little bit upwards, and maybe we should add another what? Another box here that just says that like group members. Okay. Now how do we do that? We could go here, insert, we'll create a text box, just draw, and then we'll write what? Group members, right? Now we'll center that. But you know something? Me, I'm very lazy. I don't want to do this thing like anytime I want to add something onto the same slide. I have to go to insert, go and click on what? A new text box. That's just wild. We already have a text box here, right? I'm going to delete this. What I want to do is I'll click on this. I'll click on this. Okay. See how I'm clicking on it? I'm not clicking inside the box. I'm clicking on the border. Like I'm going to remove it. Just click on it. Then leave it there. Click on Control and click on D. This will duplicate that box. Then we can move the duplicated box down. And then we can change the text here to what? Our group members. Right? Then I can make this bold. Control B to bolden it. I can resize this. I'm just going to make it a little bit. I'll move it to the center. There we go. Nice. You see that, right? It's the same process, but it makes things easy. You don't have to go to insert, click on, yeah, what do we call it? Click on text box to add a box. You can just duplicate any of the boxes that you already have. So that's about it. This looks nice. Now, definitely we'll not be having just one slide. We'll have multiple slides, right? So how do we add another slide into our slides, to our presentation? So in order to do that, you are home here. What you can do is you can go here, you see new slide, just click on new slide. This will add a new slide to the what? The slide pane. You see that we have what? Two slides now, right? In the preview, we have two slides now. And now the one that's highlighted is now my current slide. Okay. So how do I do that? With what? At the home, you have new slide, click on new, it will add another one. That's basically how you add what? A slide into your what? Your presentation. If you don't want to do that, go to insert. We have slide here. It's the same thing. Click on slide. Now, if you don't want to use this structure, because you can see that currently all our slides are following the same format. We have a heading and then we have what? A box that you can write or you can put whatever you want inside. But you might want to use a different structure for a new slide. So when you click there, instead of clicking on just the box or just clicking on the new slide itself, click on the arrow that's pointing downwards and you choose what? How you want it to look, how you want the layout, how do you want that particular slide to be structured. If you want it to look like this, you can do that. You see that it will look, the structure will be different. You can have what? The text here that says what? Text. And here we can just add whatever we want to add. So One thing you have to know is that, you see, these boxes that have been created, these widgets, like I call them, they can actually contain anything. It can be pictures, images, text. It will be a table. It can be a video. It can be anything. Okay, whatever you want to put into your slide, you can bring it in there. And so see that even when I click on the box, these are highlighted. If I want to add an image, I can just quickly do that. Click here and then you can basically add an image. Okay, you can add a chart like smart graphics. You can add 3D models. You can add a video, a table. So even uh, Microsoft Office comes with these blueprints that allows you to quickly do that. So let's actually design a good one. Let's say here we are now going to ask, what is breast cancer? Right? Breast cancer. I don't know what breast cancer is, so I'm just going to say this is the what explanation of breast cancer. And then you can just write whatever you want down there. Now always remember that you do not want your text to go overboard. You don't want it to go over this shadow here. You see that we have this box, this white box here. You don't want your text to appear outside of it, like what? I need to copy some text so that I can show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to paste this. Now, when you are doing presentations, okay, usually when you copy something from online, you'll be tempted to just paste everything into a single slide. Now, this is going outside of our slide, okay, and I can show you by zooming out. This has gone beyond our what? Our box that I was talking about, right? You don't want to do that. If you do this, when you are in presentation mode, the rest will not show up. So that's why I'm saying that presentation of PowerPoint is supposed to be what? Short content. Keep your content as small as possible for each slide so that you don't end up making it too small for them to see. You don't also end up putting too much content in one slide that when you go to present it, it's not showing up. Okay, so I'm going to center this, assuming that this is my definition of breast cancer. I'm going to go to my next slide. So instead of putting everything in here, make it small, then come down to a new slide and put whatever you wanted to put that's left there. Instead of just putting everything all in one, okay, it makes it very difficult to read when you're presenting. So please note that thing. It's something that your you appreciate when you are doing presentation, either in class or in a meeting. When your presentation is very short, okay, people appreciate what you are presenting. You don't put too many things to one single distance slide, okay. So I want to add a picture to my slide. I'm going to drag this. I'm going to paste it there. See, and just drag and drop a picture into your slideshow. See that? It's easy. Any questions? Any questions? Any additions? Yes. Is someone saying anything?
Hi. Okay, no, but the only addition is about our closing time today. We are closing 9:30 today.
Yeah.
So let's take notes. Yes, let's take note. Maybe anywhere you get, you can summarize. Tomorrow when we can add up the transitions and whatever.
All right. All right. So these are the basics of creating a slide. Very basics, nothing too much. But let's just quickly go over the menu here. Now, if you remember, Office had the same thing. Word has the same thing. The paste, the cuts, the copy, the paintbrush, and all these things were there. But it's just that we didn't have these things. Okay, but we had this. We had this where we have the text. You can change calibri, font size, font family, bold, italic. All these things we are familiar with it. We're also familiar with text alignment. We are familiar with the tabs, the line spacing. Everything still applies. Okay, you just need to know what you're doing. And so we even have the um what's the name? We even have our we even have the drawing icons like the things that we had in our insert menu. I forgot the name. Basically, it allows us to insert these things into our document, like a rectangle, a square, whatever you want to add. You can add any shape. Someone should mute their mic. I'm getting an echo. Rama. So the shapes, if you remember in our where to we had shapes that we can insert. And so the same thing still applies here. It's just been made into it's just been added into the home menu here. Okay. You have all these things helps you to style the shape. Okay, the shape fill and outline, all these things are there. I'm pretty sure we remember our find, our replace, and select too. These are nothing new to us because if you're coming from Word, you know all these things already. Then when we go to our inserts menu, we have the same thing, but with new additions. We have the table that we used. Then this is the new thing that has been added. We have our pictures, screenshot, photo album. All these things, they already exist inside of what? Inside of Microsoft Word. All right. So please keep notes and just know that whatever you learn in Microsoft Word, you can basically just add it. You can basically reuse that knowledge in what? In PowerPoint. All right. We have headers and footers. We have word art. I'm sure we know this, right? Date time, how you can insert a date time, slide numbering. All right, so these things we'll talk about them. Slide numbering is not there in Microsoft Word. Equations, we didn't talk about equations, but equations are actually there in Microsoft Word. We talked about how to insert a video into our Word. The same thing still applies into the PowerPoint. This is about adding an audio and then recording your own audio in PowerPoint. Basically, PowerPoint also has a feature like what we are doing right now in Google Docs. Like I'm able to record a video. I'm able to record and use my mic. Like all these things, you can actually record and use video recording in PowerPoint. Okay, but right now, don't want to do that. All right, we have the drawing list and the same menu in Word. We have our designs. Basically, this one allows you to add basic page designs to your slides. We had a similar thing in Microsoft Word. Okay, it was also in the design tab. It was called template also. Then we have transitions. We'll talk about that. We have animations. We'll talk about transitions and animations. We'll talk about the difference between transitions and animations. Then we'll talk about the slideshows. The slideshow, we're actually just going to talk about it right now. After you have finished preparing your slides and you now want to do presentation, you don't want to go in front of the class, like if you're in the classroom, you don't want to go in front of the class, connect your computer and you are showing them the whole screen like this. This does not look professional. And so in order to present, you need to go into presentation mode. How do we do that? Basically, you see this cap here, just click on it. Now you see that my this one has changed, right? This is called presentation mode. Everything is focused on your what? on your work and you don't have distractions coming from the screen. So that's a presentation mode. If you want to go to the next slide, use the arrow keys in your keyboard. We all know our arrow keys. No one knows the arrow keys.
We do.
Okay. So
Because
you can use the arrow keys, the left and right one, to toggle between forward and what back in your slideshow. Okay. So if you go into presentation mode, you use the arrow keys to what? Move forward or go backwards. So what happens if you want to what? You want to exit the presentation mode. You click on what? The escape key in your keyboard. Just press on the escape key and it will exit the presentation mode for you. So that's how we present and that's how we go out of presentation mode. Now, just a few things to add. When you are in on when you open up PowerPoint, at the foot end here we have what slides, which is 5 of 5. This is just keeping track of the number of slides that you have. Then we have our spelling errors. We have the language, you can change that. We have accessibility. We have notes. This is what I wanted to talk about. The notes allow you to add what some short notes into your PowerPoint. This is useful when you are doing your own personal study on a PowerPoint and you don't want to write things in the PowerPoint. Okay, so let's say I came here, I saw the definition of PowerPoint. Sorry, breast cancer, and then I wanted to note something, and I can just go here, click on notes, then see click to add notes. I'll just say okay. Okay, so there is something new in breast cancer here. Okay, right. So I can basically note down what I've learned on this particular slide. You get it? So this is what I've learned. I can keep notes of that. Now this is different from comments. Okay, if I go here, if I go to this slide, I'll not see the notes that I added. But if I go here, I'll still see the notes that I added. If you want to hide it, just toggle this and it will take it out for you. That's about the notes. The comments allow you to comment on a document. This works similar to that of what do we call it? Comments in Microsoft Word. I know we didn't talk about that, but they are useful when you are working in a team or when you're working with other people. Okay, so for instance, you are working on a presentation, you submit it to your supervisor wants you to make corrections. Okay, what they can do is they can make comments inside the document, and then you can now go and what review them yourself. And so if I saw that the definition of breast cancer that my student has added here is not correct or there's an issue with it, I'll just highlight it. I'll right click, then I'll go and see comment, new comment, right? So I just click on new comment. I'll tell him, okay, go and read on what breast cancer. Go and read on breast cancer very well because this does not make sense. Okay, I'll do that. Then once I do that, this will be saved. And so later on, if I resend the file back to you and you open it, you will see this comment. Okay, this is different from notes. Notes are for you. Comments are also for you, but basically the comments we usually use it when we want to what to share information on a piece of on a particular what text in our document, basically allowing us to make changes later on so that we do not have too many write-ups or a lot of gibberish in our document. So that's about comments. This one is just used for you to what to hide or change the layout. Like if you want the side this thing, how you want it to appear basically. That's what we use it for. I want it to be normal, so I'm leaving it to normal. Okay, so you can change the view. So there are a lot of things you can just explore on them, and I don't think we even looked at these ones in Microsoft Word, but we have similar thing in Microsoft Word. where you can go into reading mode, you can go into different modes, and then basically it helps take out distractions from the screen so that you are able to focus on your work. That's about that. Okay. If you want to zoom in and zoom out, I think I'll be using this while like I'll be using this throughout the presentation, so you should already know how this is used. Okay. So yeah, any additions, issues, or problems, let's know so that we can wrap up for today.